Alors, à partir de cette ligne qu'on a là, s'il vous plaît, tout le monde en bas, s'il vous plaît.
We all like to believe that no one can control the way we think. But there are many techniques that can be used to change the way our minds normally work. One is hypnosis.
Respirez profondément en laissant aller simplement votre imagination.
Anyone can be hypnotized, but only if they want to be. The stage hypnotist rejects those who don't instantly show that desire.
Respirez, respirez. Fais jouer une musique, quelque chose, je suis vide. À toi, ça joue très fort. 1, 2, 3, allez-y.
Now the hypnotist only has to give this woman the suggestion she's a member of an orchestra, and immediately she believes she is.
Merveilleux. Levez-vous bien debout. Et battez bien la mesure.
Another suggestion, and the orchestra member becomes the conductor.
Et ça va!
In trance, people seem so easy to manipulate.
Mademoiselle, battez bien la mesure.
I'm going to take your arm and just put it there.
You can only be hypnotized if you believe in the power of the hypnotist.
That's just fine, and you can just allow your eyes to close.
You must accept him as an authority figure. Different people will accept different authority figures, depending on their needs and value systems. This man would never have faith in a stage hypnotist, but he's ready to believe in a doctor. And he wants to be hypnotized to get rid of his migraine headaches.
Or maybe it's a sensation of warmth. I'd like you very slowly and comfortably to just allow that hand to float up over your head until you make contact, until you're able to touch very comfortably and securely back of your neck, so that that really good feeling that you can feel in your hand, that's right, very slowly, very comfortably, can be transferred to the back of your neck.
Suggestions made to people in trance can not only change the way they act, but also the way they feel. Here, the patient becomes more suggestible to the doctor, telling him to relax and control the pain.
You can feel that comfort spreading from your hand into your neck as the muscles become even more deeply relaxed, as your head sinks down and you sink down. I think the experience of trance is really something that occurs for everyone spontaneously anyway, moments of reverie, of absorption, for example, while reading a novel or adventure story and becoming so engrossed in it that you really feel you're there and are oblivious even to somebody coming into the room at first. But in hypnosis, we have a series of techniques, of styles of communicating and relating with a person that facilitate their ability to experience trance, help them to enter a trance, and even more important perhaps, help them to maintain a trance.
What do you see? Chairs, desks.
The extent to which a person in trance can be made suggestible is quite remarkable. This young man is wide awake and can even carry on a conversation. He tells the hypnotist exactly what he sees. He thinks he is seeing everything the way he normally does, but he's not.
Anybody in the class?
No, why?
What do you mean? There's nobody in the class?
Myself, why?
That's it?
Yourself?
Yeah.
That's it. And? What's happening?
What would happen? What do you mean what happened? You see that?
Yeah. Hi, Joe. Hi.
There's nobody in the classroom. You realize that?
Yes, so?
So what are you sitting here doing?
Talking to you.
Talking to me? Okay. It's time to go.
Where?
Home, I suppose. It's finished. You know? But you can't go out of that door, you know that?
Why?
I don't know why, try it. What's the matter?
Can't get up, bro.
Can't get up?
No.
You see that? He's high. What I suggested simply is he can't get up, and how I interpret it is that he can't get up anymore to go out.
Who are you talking to?
He's talking to somebody here.
Who?
Some people in the class. No?
Where are they?
You said,
Yeah?
what?
What's what?
Whom am I talking to?
To me.
And?
The class, why?
You see the switch? Are you with it? Huh?
What switch?
Huh?
What switch?
You see anybody?
No, why?
Now what is getting him in and out of? Can you figure it out yet? Yeah. Huh? If I, what's this? Now what's this movement? This means he's going into that heightened state of suggestibility. It's a non-verbal clue. That means he's out. Right. You see people?
Yeah, why?
Okay. What do you see?
I see the classroom, why?
What?
Huh?
What did you say?
What?
You said something.
I don't remember. What is it?
See how swiftly he passes from one state of consciousness into another. Huh?
Hi. What's happening?
Hypnosis is only one technique to put people into the suggestible state of trance. There are other methods that don't need a hypnotist. The oldest techniques used for inducing trance are rhythmic drumming, chanting, and dancing. Early in the history of every culture, it has been discovered that if you overload the senses, the stress will disrupt the way the mind normally works. This leads to disorientation and trance. Just like someone hypnotized, these Moroccan women no longer control the way they think. In the trance state, they may have visions, which they interpret as instructions from gods or spirits. Or they may receive what they believe to be powers of prophecy or healing. Highly structured industrial societies have abandoned many of the traditional techniques for inducing trance.
And I want you now to use your imagination. Play the role, play the part, and feel your body relaxing as I ask you to do so. And the relaxing power is now...
But recently, hundreds of thousands of people have rediscovered these techniques in such groups as EST, TM, LifeSpring, Silva Mind Control, and this one, run by Dick Sutphin.
Completely relaxed, completely relaxed. Keeping your full attention now on the sound of my voice as a relaxing power comes into the fingers of both of your hands.
The stated aim of all these groups is to use trance to expand consciousness. Sutphin's seminar plays on the belief in reincarnation. He suggests that while in trance, these people will travel back to a previous lifetime and to events in that lifetime which are the cause of a present-day personal problem.
Closer now. On the next count, you will reach the end of the tunnel. You will step out and you will see yourself at the age of 15 in a previous lifetime. Letting go, moving backward, number 1.
To induce trance, Sutphin uses a combination of techniques. First, the tone of voice and delivery of a hypnotist, then the element of stress. Instead of drumming and chanting, he plays a repetitive electronic sound which he gradually increases in volume.
Just let it out.
Let go of the frustration. Let it out.
Be done with it. Come on, some of you are still holding it in. You think you're gonna die of it. Come on, let it go.
We're only going to do this session once. If you want to let go and you're not doing it, let it out.
The pounding rhythm and the exhortation to let go quickly have the desired result: disorientation and trance. Now they have an experience like that of the Moroccan women. Suitable visions and stories enter the mind. They come involuntarily, like dreams.
You'd like to keep the repression, huh? You know what the effects are?
It's yours if you want it. Freedom is yours too. Get rid of those chains. Ah!
Okay, now let go. Let go. Let go. Just begin to completely let go. Breathe deeply. You're letting
Whether these people actually have visions of a past life is not the point. They believe they do. They believe they have pinpointed the root cause of a personal problem, and perhaps thinking they have found the cause will help them overcome it.
For some reason, I had said something that betrayed the tribe.
Afterwards, each person describes what they saw while in trance.
They were leading me up this these stone steps to punish me, and I could see all of these faces, pretty angry, upset, and I realize now that I'm just terribly afraid of being embarrassed, have people looking at me.
Again, you have them lead you up the stone steps.
It was...
What happened to you at the top of the stone steps?
Well, I knew that I was going to be killed at that point, but I tried to not go into that.
And you can see how that's affecting you now.
And I
So
do,
they're not
because
going to kill you today for saying
I know, and
what you think.
I had this, like I said, this fear of telling people what I think because I don't want to hurt anybody, and I didn't realize before that was
Where it was coming
probably
from.
Yeah.
Every single thing that we have going on for us, all of our negative feelings, our hang-ups, our fears, they're all coming from some event in our past. Whether or not we can pin it down and identify it in time. Okay, it's time now to be able to speak up and say what you feel you need to say, okay? Knowing that they're not going to sacrifice you to the Aztec gods or something. Let's acknowledge it. Yeah.
I've never been to a psychiatrist before.
Well, Eleanor asked me to see you to see if I could help you. Maybe you could tell me what the problem is.
That's the problem. I don't really know.
The use of trance and suggestion to try to solve deep emotional problems has a long history. Psychiatry started exploring these methods in the 19th century.
Charcot was interested in the psychiatric disorder called hysteria, and he began using hypnosis to command away symptoms. Freud went and studied under him, he was highly impressed by the showmanship of Charcot and how he could suggest away symptom in his patients, and he started to use hypnosis. But then he perhaps was the main originator of the idea that if you use direct suggestion and commanded away symptoms, well, they might temporarily disappear, but they would come up in another guise. You would command away that paralysis, but in a month's time the patient would be psychotically depressed or something of that sort. So he began to see or feel that direct suggestion and commanding away symptoms didn't provide any long-term answer to the patient's conflicts. And then he began his talking cure, his free association process and non-directive approach, and digging out stuff rather than suppressing it.
I guess I feel I'm at a bit of a standstill. And I don't know which direction to go.
In this kind of therapy, unlike hypnosis, the doctor makes every effort to avoid telling the patient what to do. Instead, she is encouraged to talk about her problems so she may come to a deeper understanding of their causes.
I feel like I'm very alone.
But even though there is no hypnotic trance, no direct commands, the doctor's influence can still be very strong.
When I was saying about our ideal in Western non-directive psychotherapy is not to use suggestions. And some people say that we're just fooling ourselves when we say that there's as much suggestion going on in non-directive therapy as there is in this kind of therapy I just describing.
I've disappointed a lot of people.
Disappointed people?
Yeah, I think so.
Though not in trance, this patient is under stress and emotionally overwrought. And she is in the presence of an authority figure she trusts and believes. In this situation, even though it is unintended, suggestions are almost certain to pass from doctor to patient.
Yeah, because I had...
It can happen in subtle ways. The tone of voice, body language, how a question is asked.
You felt that you shouldn't have had the relationship?
Well, I felt I should have it, but I guess in a way I felt I shouldn't as well. Almost at the same time, I thought both things.
Why shouldn't you have had it?
I went from being looked after by one group of people to being looked after by another group of people.
By one man?
Yeah, yeah. Perhaps that was wrong.
So far, we have seen that people can be suggestible when they are under emotional stress and take indirect suggestions, which may have a long-lasting effect. And we have seen people become suggestible when in trance and take direct suggestions, which change them for a short period of time. Now we will look at techniques which can be used to go much further, to change a person's fundamental belief system and change it for life. His name is Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Thousands of people from all over the world come to him in Pune, India, to become his disciples, his sannyasin. They come to listen to a doctrine which can lead to a new way of being. Rajneesh knows that it is easier to change people if you remove them from their normal environment and place them in one which you control. To maintain a stable sense of personal identity, every one of us needs continual feedback and reinforcement from friends, family, and the society around us. But here the sannyasins stay in a commune 24 hours a day, surrounded by new friends, a new family, a new society. They all wear clothes of orange and are given a new name. All of this weakens their sense of former identity. Now they are told to look at themselves afresh, using one-on-one therapy sessions and hours of meditation.
It forces you to encounter yourself, your fidgetiness, your restlessness, your ugliness, your madness. It forces you to see all rubbish that you are carrying within yourself. And that is one of the most essential steps. If you want to go beyond anything, first you have to encounter it. Without encountering it, there is no transcendence. Jesus says, unless you are born again, you will not enter into my kingdom of God. This is the birth he is talking about. And this is the birth I am talking about. This is what sannyas is. A process of rebirth. A process of being born again. Is the sun behind the sun? Is the sun?
A complete change of environment and personal habits is key to any personality change. When the sense of identity is shaken, people become more suggestible, and the time is ripe for an authority figure to step forward and tell them what to do, what to believe, what is right, what is wrong. Rajneesh also encourages trance states which increase suggestibility. These people came here looking for change, but like the psychiatrist's patient, they did not know what change to make. Now that they are in a suggestible state, Rajneesh tells them, surrender and accept me as the perfect master. And they do.
Don't miss this opportunity. Words will always be available to you. But to be in communion with a living master is a rare opportunity. It happens only once in a while. God is the unknown, not only the unknown, but the unknowable. Come. Again and again I say come, because I may not be here for long.
Trappists, Benedictines, Jesuit novitiates. They live in isolation, cut off from the rest of the world. They take on a special set of clothes. They may even change their name. These monks have sought a new way of being, surrendering themselves to a perfect master who died some 2,000 years ago. Catholic orders not only control the physical environment, they also control the use of time. A good example can be seen in the training of a Jesuit.
We got up in the morning at 5 or 5:30. We had a very short time to get dressed. We then went to a visit in the chapel. We then meditated for almost an hour. We then went to a place called the ascetory, which was just a big room with desks, and we wrote down some thoughts as a result of the meditation, a review of meditation. Then a bell rang, and I might say that I think 30 to 40 bells rang a day to divide the day up into very small lots. The idea was that as soon as the bell rang, you were to stop whatever letter you were writing. That didn't mean that if you were writing a letter to your mother, you stopped in the middle of it. It meant if you were writing the letter A, you stopped in the middle of writing the letter A.
Rajneesh has to provide an exciting, almost orgiastic atmosphere to attract the followers he then converts. These monks don't have to be converted. They make the decision to surrender their lives to Christ before entering the order. Because of this commitment, they are more willing to accept stronger controls over the environment, not only the stringent control of time and space, but also abnormal restrictions like the rule of silence and the prohibition of sex. The novice, faced with this carefully controlled environment, must change. His old ways of thinking do not apply in this strange new world. He needs a new way of thinking, and his superiors are the only people available to tell him what that new way of thinking should be. The Jesuits use an extreme form of environmental control to build sufficient stress in the novice to bring him into a state of suggestibility. They don't use drumming or dancing. They use silence. 30 days where all speech is forbidden and where meditation lasts several hours each day. Every waking moment is devoted to the teachings of Ignatius Loyola, the basis of the Jesuit faith.
Your mind was focused on thoughts about God, about your purpose in life, about the 4 last things, about birth, death, judgment, hell, heaven. Now, you know, take 30 days of rather intense thinking and, quote, praying, unquote, about those things, and you're bound to undergo at least a temporary change.
At the core of this changed way of thinking is obedience. Obedience to the rules of the order. And above all, obedience to the head of the order, an authority figure you must obey, because he alone can show you the true path to Christ.
Well, of course, obedience, I think, is the cornerstone of the whole Jesuit system. And it was made clear to us that our immediate superior, who in the novitiate would have been the master of novices, was there in the place of God, and that we were to react to him without the slightest hesitation of any kind of questioning. It was to be unquestioned obedience.
Rajneesh and the Catholic Church can justify their methods by telling their followers it is God's will. The reward they offer is that change will lead to spiritual enlightenment. But what techniques can be used by groups more interested in worldly power than in saving souls?